The Messerschmitt Mion 163 Comet may appear like a child's toy at first glance, due to its compact and unusual design. However, it was anything but a toy. It was the fastest airplane of World War I, and the only rocket-propelled fighter ever to see combat. Although it boasted cutting-edge technology, the Comet turned out to be equally dangerous for its pilots as for the enemy. During the war, the Germans were exploring the design of engineless aircraft known as gliders. By that time, they had some experience with rocket engines, which, however, would quickly run out of fuel. The solution: integrate a rocket engine into a glider. After numerous prototypes and fatal accidents, the Comet was finally deployed in combat in 1944. The Comet's features were both extraordinary and perilous. It measured less than 6 meters and had only a single seat. Upon takeoff, a two-wheel dolly was jettisoned once airborne, leaving a skid as the permanent landing gear. But this landing system had its flaws. Malfunctions led to severe injuries for some test pilots. The Comet was equipped with a small wind turbine on its nose that generated power for the onboard instruments. However, its most spectacular feature was the rocket engine, enabling it to reach speeds exceeding 1,000 km. This record wouldn't be broken until 1947 by the Bell X-1. Unfortunately, the rocket engine had several drawbacks. For example, the fuel could last only about 7.5 minutes, and the Allies often waited for the Comet's fuel to run out before engaging it in combat. Although it was a well-designed glider, its great speed made it hard to hit slow targets like bombers. An innovative weapon, the Zitteroshin Faust, was developed to solve this issue. Although the Comet could reach dizzying heights in very little time, this could create physiological issues for the pilots, such as the expansion of gas in the gastrointestinal tract and the lack of cabin pressurization. The greatest danger, though, was its volatile fuel, made up of two chemical substances that would spontaneously ignite upon contact and were extremely corrosive. This led to numerous fires and explosions, causing deaths and injuries among both pilots and ground crew. Pilots wore special suits to protect themselves, but these were not always sufficient, as shown by the tragic story of test pilot Hugo Puls, whose flesh was practically melted in an incident involving the corrosive fuel. Despite all its issues and associated risks, the Comet had limited impact on the conflict. It downed between 9 and 18 Allied bombers, but lost 10 in combat, besides numerous losses during development. In the end, it was not deployed on a large scale, and its utility was reduced by the dwindling supply of the special fuel it needed. Eric Brown, a Scottish pilot, was the only Allied pilot to fly a Comet with the rocket engine activated. Despite being aware of the risks, he described it as an extraordinary experience. But even he agreed that the Comet was too dangerous to be further tested by the Allies. For adrenaline-loving pilots, the Comet was irresistible, albeit deadly. It was the forbidden airplane of its time, seductive yet terrifyingly dangerous, a poisoned apple of the aviation world.